Hoops fans, welcome to the Dynasty Hoops Show. I'm Brad.
I'm Craig.
And today we are going to talk to you a little bit about Team USA and getting ready for the FIBA World Cup. So, Team USA, Craig, what are your thoughts so far? What do you think?
I really enjoyed watching that game on Friday. It felt good to have basketball back, even if it's not actual NBA basketball. Kemba Walker had a great night. It was fun to watch him. He had 11 points, 8 assists. That was a great stat line considering that nobody else on Team USA had more than 13 points. The rest of the team just had a balanced offensive attack that systematically dismantled the Spain team that's widely considered the second best team in all of FIBA. It was just a really fun thing to watch. I enjoyed it. What did you think?
I mean, the game itself wasn't necessarily great. I mean, you can tell these are a lot of guys who haven't played in a while. It was kind of a glorified scrimmage. But Kemba looked really, really good. He looked really comfortable. I mean, his jump shot when it's on is just butter. Donovan Mitchell played really well. He had a couple really cool moments. That dunk was pretty nice. We got to see Jaylen Brown play really, really well. I really like how he plays defensively. I feel like he's going to get up in people's business in the World Cup. It's going to be fun. Him and Marc are just going to make life miserable for a lot of these guys, for some of these other countries, especially teams that really have a chance like Spain, Serbia. I feel like we'll see how the depth of Team USA is going to be. I'm a little concerned with their front court, considering who's kind of left. I mean, Mason Plumlee's going to be probably playing a lot of minutes. We're going to get a lot of Miles Turner. We're going to see how they perform on, the world stage. But it was fun to see them. I feel like Pop is always going to have these guys ready to play. Pop's going to get the best out of them. It's just great to have basketball back. Yeah, this isn't the Team USA everybody envisioned a couple months ago. But for what it is, we're going to enjoy it, and it'll be really cool and kind of sweet to see them do something.
I think it'd actually be kind of a disservice if we didn't talk about the Spanish team. They do have a couple people in the NBA that are playing on their team. Ricky Rubio didn't have too great of a night. He started off the first half of the game really well, making a couple jumpers, making a couple three-pointers, but he really cooled off in the second half. I think that led to a lot of their decline in their performance and their scoring. Marc Gasol, for how long he's been playing, he's great. I know he's not as old as Pau, but I was surprised every time he made a three-pointer, even though I shouldn't be.
He doesn't have a game that relies on athleticism. He's smart, he's heady, he does everything right. I mean, anybody who's watched Memphis or even Toronto for the last 12 years knows how good that guy is. The thing that's really interesting is I think Spain has a lot of great guys that I don't know why they're not in the NBA. Like, you look at Rudy Fernandez, he did play in the NBA for a minute.
Yeah, Rudy Fernandez actually really surprised me when I saw him there last night. I actually thought he had just retired. I remember watching him on the Blazers, and he was actually a really fun player to watch.
He's really good. He's really, really good in Spain. You think of Sergio Yul, I think that's how you say his name. He's been great for a decade. These guys are really, really good. They've played professionally in Spain, for Barcelona, for Madrid for a long time. They're really organized. They're a team that's played together for a really long time. I mean, this team, this core of this Spanish team has probably been playing together since 2007, 2008. So they're smart. They play really hard. They're talented. So we have to tip our hat to them. I feel like Ricky Rubio started off really well. You got to see a lot of the tantalizing potential of Ricky Rubio if he could ever put it all together, especially from a jump shooting perspective. They'll be tough, but I still think that it's going to be hard for them to compete with the U.S., mostly just due to their lack of it. So, kind of an interesting side note is, I don't know if anybody listened to the Bill Simmons podcast this last week, how he had Brian Windhorst on, and he talked about 3 guys that were really sticking out for Team USA in camp when they were watching practice. And 2 of them, we did discuss one of them just for a minute, Donovan Mitchell. Like, he's played really, really well. They talked about how much he's improved and looked great. They also talked about how good Jayson Tatum looked. Jayson Tatum obviously had an amazing rookie season and then kind of had a little bit of a letdown in his sophomore year. But I still think he's got all the talent in the world, and I think he's going to be awesome this year. And the third guy is kind of somebody I want to talk about for a minute. De'Aaron Fox. What happened with De'Aaron Fox?
He only played 6 minutes in the game on Friday. One of the things I read on ESPN was that he said that Pop was getting on him about his shot selection. And my response to that is, well, it's Popovich. You listen to him. He might be the best coach, at least of the last 20 years, if not in the NBA of all time.
Yeah, it's Auerbach.
And if he's not the best, he's top 5.
Yeah, he's amazing. If Pop tells you to do something, you gotta listen. So it's kind of interesting that De'Aaron Fox decided to withdraw on Saturday, the morning after the game, the night before, citing an effort to try to help the Kings make the playoffs. I mean, that's noble. It'd be cool to see the Kings make the playoffs. We all know that the reason why he withdrew was because he only played 6 minutes. He's probably a little frustrated. I think De'Aaron Fox is awesome. He's fast, he's electric, he has so much Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose to his game with the ability to have a jump shot. He's got the whole package. And it's too bad he withdrew because he's really good. And I think he would have been a huge asset for the team. But at the same time, I mean, if you're going to play for Popovich, you've got to be able to buy into his system 100%. And I know that that's going to extend to the U.S. national team just like it does with the Spurs.
So that kind of leads us into our next question is, why are so many players dropping out of the Team USA this year? My theory is that there's just not as much prestige with the FIBA World Cup as there is with something, say, the Olympics. There's not even as much prestige with the Olympics as there is with the NBA Finals. If you ask most players what they'd rather have, gold medal or an NBA championship, 10 out of 10 would say they'd want an NBA championship. Agree or disagree?
I mean, I would agree. I think there are probably a couple things that kind of play in with FIBA this go around. I mean, I would not expect guys like James Harden and Damian Lillard to play. Like, these guys are elite superstars. They could walk onto the Olympic team next summer if they want to. I can see why they would withdraw. It's interesting to see some of these lesser players withdraw, guys that haven't established themselves, guys that, I mean, even guys like Marvin Bagley have been withdrawing. I mean, Marvin Bagley could end up being a really good player, but he's still a second-year guy. I mean, De'Aaron Fox withdrew. We've got a lot of players, even guys like CJ McCollum, who really aren't established superstars. They're great. He's a star, but I don't think he's ever made an all-star team. And I think, like you said, there's probably a little bit of lack of prestige, but I also think it's really close to the season. I mean, these guys are traveling to China in September. They're going to get back and have like a week or two right before training camp. I think there's some concern there in terms of being so close to the season, it being so close to an Olympic year, and there are a lot of teams that think that they've got a shot at winning a championship this year. There are a lot of teams like Portland that think that they legitimately have a shot, so that's why both their guys withdrew, of doing something. So I think that's part of it. And I also think that they're just scared of getting injured. I think due to it being that close to the season, they want to prepare and they don't want to get hurt.
I think one of the detrimental effects of leaving Team USA, especially for the younger guys like the Marvin Bagleys and the De'Aaron Foxes who do want to help their team make the playoffs, is there is a direct correlation in working on those teams. And I'm going to go back to this. Working with Popovich and Steve Kerr. Those are probably the two best coaches in the NBA right now. There's tons of evidence in the past how working with Team USA influences your not only the next year, but the rest of your career. The development there is astounding, and if you want to make the playoffs, you want to work out with these guys. I know that the level of competition in practice right now isn't superstars and all-stars. You have an opportunity to learn from future stars, future all-stars, and people who are going to be the best in the league in the future.
So one thing that's really interesting is I was reading an article, I wish I could remember where, but it talked about how the 2010 World Cup team had 4 future MVP winners on it. 4. They had, I mean, for a fact, we know that Kevin Durant was on that team, James Harden was on that team, Russell Westbrook was on that team, and I want to say Steph Curry was as well. Like 4 elite superstars, and a lot of people felt that that experience helped springboard them to what they became. So here are opportunities for you to be on a world stage, for you to take the lead as a leader on this front and learn from these coaches, just like you were saying. It's kind of interesting that a lot of players would just decline it. I get there are some downsides to it, but the upsides are tremendous. I mean, you get an opportunity to work with Coach Pop. You get an opportunity to work with a lot of these incredible young coaches alongside Coach Pop. And I'm really excited to see what kind of effect this has on guys like Jayson Tatum, on guys like Donovan Mitchell, on guys like Jaylen Brown even. I mean, what's going to happen for these guys next year after just this entire experience? I don't see a downside unless they get hurt.
So that's all for us with this video. Let us know what you guys think about Team USA, who should have stayed, who you think is going to be the best player on the team. We'd love to hear from you. We'd also love for you to subscribe, hit that like button, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified as soon as we upload our next video. Thanks for watching.